The morning sun rose without mercy, washing the city in pale daylight and revealing every crack in the sidewalks, every tired face rushing past. Marcus Hale stood at the edge of the bus terminal, his shoulders stiff beneath a worn-out jacket that once carried the weight of a uniform and medals no one ever asked about anymore. In his pocket was a single dollar, creased and soft from being folded too many times, the last proof that he had tried to hold things together. By nightfall, that dollar would be gone, and with it the thin line between survival and surrender. What Marcus did with it would change far more than he could ever imagine. If you believe that kindness still matters and that people deserve second chances, please take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Journal. Your support helps stories like this reach the hearts that need them most. Marcus was a veteran of a long, exhausting war that had followed him home long after the uniform was folded away. Daytime traffic roared behind him as buses hissed and pulled away, carrying people to jobs, lunches, lives that seemed organized and certain. For Marcus, certainty had ended years ago. After returning home with a back injury and nights haunted by memories he could never fully explain, he had lost job after job. Employers smiled politely at his resume and thanked him for his service, but the smiles never turned into steady paychecks. The small apartment he once shared with his son was replaced by a cramped room above a closed-down hardware store, where sunlight slipped through dusty windows and reminded him every day that time was moving on without him. His son, Caleb, was the center of everything Marcus did. 12 years old, quiet, and far too aware of how fragile their life had become, Caleb tried to be brave in ways no child should have to be. Marcus worked odd daytime jobs when he could, unloading trucks, cleaning yards, fixing fences, anything that paid a few dollars. But injuries flared, and employers wanted speed, not pain. That morning, Marcus had counted his money 3 times. $1. Not enough for lunch, not enough for bus fare, not enough to stretch into tomorrow. He had planned to save it for Caleb's dinner, maybe buy a small loaf of bread, maybe something warm to make the boy smile. As Marcus stood there, the city moved around him, alive and indifferent. That was when he noticed the woman sitting near the terminal steps. She was older, her hair pulled back in a loose knot, her clothes clean but threadbare. Daylight revealed the exhaustion in her face and the careful way she held a small paper bag close to her chest. A handwritten sign rested against her knee, its letters uneven and faded from use. Marcus did not read it at first. He tried to look away, because looking meant feeling, and feeling meant remembering the times he had sat in similar places, hoping no one would notice how close he was to losing everything. But something pulled his attention back. The woman shifted, and the bag slipped, spilling its contents onto the concrete. A few coins scattered and rolled, catching the sunlight. She moved slowly, her hands trembling as she tried to gather them. People walked past without stopping. Marcus felt a familiar ache rise in his chest, the kind that came from knowing what it felt like to be invisible in broad daylight. He reached into his pocket and felt the single dollar. The thought of Caleb flashed through his mind, the way the boy tried to hide his hunger with a smile. Marcus hesitated, his body tense with the weight of the choice. Logic told him to turn away. Survival demanded it. But another voice, quieter and older, reminded him of who he had been before the world had taken so much. Without fully understanding why, Marcus stepped forward. He knelt, helped gather the coins, and placed his dollar gently into the woman's bag. He did not wait for thanks. He did not explain. He simply nodded and walked away, feeling both lighter and more afraid than he had moments before. The rest of the day unfolded under a harsh, honest sun. Marcus walked instead of taking the bus, his back aching with every step. He stopped by a construction site where he sometimes found short-term work, only to be told they were fully staffed. He visited a community board with handwritten job postings, most already crossed out. By midday, hunger pressed hard against his resolve, but he pushed through it, telling himself he had done the right thing. Kindness, he believed, had to mean something, even when it cost everything. When Marcus returned to the small room he shared with Caleb,